I realized my boss was all bark and no bite. This happened at my job downtown where I worked at this fancy law office. The whole place was like one of those movie offices with glass everywhere and marble floors that echoed when you walked. Everyone there was scared shitless of our CEO, Peter. This guy was like a walking nightmare. He'd storm through the hallways talking loud on his phone, never making eye contact with anyone. If you worked there, you knew to get out of his way fast. Peter had this thing where he'd scream at people in meetings for no reason. Like one time, this intern brought him coffee that wasn't hot enough, and he lost his mind, yelling about how nobody respected his time. Another time, he made this pregnant lady who worked as his assistant cry because she made a tiny typo in an email. She was like 7 months pregnant and stood there bawling while he kept going off about attention to detail. It was brutal to watch. The worst part was nobody ever stood up to him, not even the other lawyers who made tons of money. HR would just nod along with whatever he wanted. The managers would literally freeze up when he walked by. Even the partners who owned pieces of the company would keep their heads down and pretend to be busy when he came around. It was like everyone had just accepted that this was how things worked. I'd been there about 8 months and had only talked to Peter maybe twice. Both times he barely looked at me and just grunted when I said good morning. Most of us regular employees tried to stay invisible around him. We'd take the stairs instead of the elevator if we saw him waiting. We'd eat lunch at our desks if he was in the break room. It sounds crazy now, but it felt normal back then. But then everything changed because of Luis. Luis was this older guy, maybe in his 60s, who cleaned the offices at night. He'd been there for like 10 years and was super quiet. He didn't speak much English, but he was always smiling and nodding at people. Nice guy, but nobody really knew him since he worked nights and most of us were gone by then. So one Thursday afternoon, I'm staying late to finish some paperwork when the elevator breaks down. I hear all this shouting coming from inside and realize someone's stuck in there. Security comes running and we find out it's Peter and Luis trapped together. The elevator just stopped between floors and wouldn't move. Now here's the thing nobody knew. Those elevators had cameras with full audio that recorded everything. Security could hear what was happening inside, and so could anyone standing near their monitors. Peter immediately started freaking out and blaming Luis for the elevator breaking. He's screaming at this poor guy like it's his fault, telling him to pry open the doors with his bare hands. Luis is trying to explain in broken English that he doesn't know how to fix elevators, but Peter won't listen. Then Peter starts calling him names, saying he's useless and stupid. Luis starts sweating really bad and breathing heavy. The guy's obviously having some kind of panic attack or something, but Peter just keeps going. He tells Luis that if he dies in that elevator, it better not be Peter's problem because Luis isn't worth the paperwork. Like, who says that to another human being? About 5 minutes later, Luis collapses. Just drops to the floor. That's when Peter completely loses it. He starts sobbing and begging for help, hitting all the buttons like a maniac. He's screaming for someone to get them out, saying he's sorry over and over. When the emergency crew finally got them out like 40 minutes later, Luis was okay. Just really dehydrated and scared. But the whole thing was recorded. Someone in security leaked that footage to the board of directors. These were the same people Peter had been treating like garbage for years. Turns out they'd been looking for a way to get rid of him without getting sued. And this gave them exactly what they needed. Friday afternoon, Peter got called into a meeting. By Monday morning, he was gone. Just like that. 10 years of terrorizing people, and it all ended because he showed his true colors to the wrong person at the wrong time. The crazy part? Luis got promoted to supervisor of the cleaning crew. Turns out he'd been covering for his coworkers and organizing everything perfectly for years. But nobody in management ever noticed because they only saw him as the quiet night janitor.